Hey everyone, Mr. Macintosh here, and OpenCore Legacy Patcher 0.4.11 has just been released for unsupported Macs. This update addresses some issues with Safari 16.0, and I'm going to walk you through how to update your app to address those issues, and then I'm going to go over all the changes to this version that improves the OpenCore Legacy Patcher app. We got a lot to cover. Let's jump in and get started. Let's go over a quick summary of the 0.4.11 update. First of all, this update does not have any Ventura support in there. I know that we talked about that it's coming soon, but the developers are still working on it and making sure that it's ready for the first beta test. And as soon as it is, you bet I'll be ready to show you how to do it. But until then, let's talk about some of the changes for macOS Monterey. And the 12.6 update just came out less than a week ago, and the developers noticed that there was a slight problem with Safari 16.0. Now let's take a close look at that. What they noticed is that certain GPUs and non-metal Macs would not display the search answers or the pre-answers in Google when you started to type something in. So they immediately jumped in to figure out what was the problem and fixed the issue pretty quickly and then released this update. It's not just that, there's other things that are added to the update that they've been working on all this time that are added, and we'll go over those later. But let's go over a quick overview. So with Apple's release of 12.6 Monterey, we wanted to release some fixes associated with this OS. The main one is WebKit support with Safari 16.0 on Ivy Bridge iGPUs and non-metal GPUs. So Ivy Bridge is around 2012. So 2012 Macs usually have an Ivy Bridge iGPU in them, and some non-metal Mac GPUs. If you installed or updated to 12.6, Safari 16.0 will be an additional update separate from the regular operating system update. And keep in mind, this is a change, and I went over that in my 12.6 video, that Safari is no longer included in the macOS Monterey update, and that changed with 12.6. So when you go into system preferences, you'll see right away that there's two updates, 12.6 and 16.0, and if you just hit install now, it'll install both of them automatically for you. If you find that Google Text Elements is not rendering correctly, rerun the root volume patcher and see some of the examples below for symptoms. Otherwise, we hope everybody enjoys this release. And there's another note down here, a WebGL note. If you notice Google Maps in Safari is broken on Ivy Bridge and Haswell, know that this is an Apple bug resolved in Safari Tech Preview 16.1. And a workaround until that comes out, you can disable WebGL via Metal in Safari's developer settings if you're on Safari 16.0. So first of all, Safari Tech Preview is like a beta for Safari, and when 16.1 comes out, those fixes will be in there, including this fix for the Google Maps in Safari. If you have this issue where you go into Google and you start typing in there and you don't see the elements in here, like we showed you in the screenshot, let's first go over how to update and get that issue resolved. Our demonstration Mac today is a mid-2014 15-inch MacBook Pro, and as you can see here, we've updated to macOS Monterey 12.6 and we have Safari 16.0 installed. So if you go to Safari and then you go to google.com and you see these elements not displaying properly, we know that we got to apply the fix. So the first thing we want to do is go into our applications folder through Finder or the hard drive, and then we want to go to our OpenCore Legacy Patcher. As you can see, I've tested different versions on this Mac, but you are only going to see OpenCore-Patcher. So let's open that up, and we'll see right away that we'll see a new update is available. As you can see here, our current version is on 10, and it shows that we have a new version available on GitHub. So let's do that. Let's click on View on GitHub here, and it'll automatically bring us to that page. We can scroll down here to our Assets section here, and this is the one we're looking for, OpenCore Patcher GUI. Click on this guy and it'll immediately start to download to our downloads folder. Okay, it's almost done here. Give it a second. And now as soon as it jumps up and down, we know it's in the downloads folder. Let's minimize our Safari here, and let's close our 0.4.10 app here. And then we can open up our Finder again to go to Applications, and then we can open up the downloads and then drag our OpenCore Legacy Patcher app to our applications. And since the old version is there, it's going to ask us what do we want to do. We want to replace it. Now we've got the latest version 0.4.11 installed in our applications folder. We'll close applications and we'll open it up. It'll verify and then click on open. And there we are. We're on 0.4.11. And all we need to do is click on post install root patch and then click on Start Root Patching. Click on Yes. It'll relaunch the application as root. We'll type in our administrator password here. And it is starting the root patching system automatically. We'll give it a second here. Just finished. Now all we need to do is click on the reboot button here, and it does this extra screen here just in case you had anything open where you need to save your data. But if you're ready to go, click on restart. There's a chime. Okay, let's log back in, and our Safari issue should be all fixed up. Or if you just wanted to update to 0.4.11, you're all updated now for your post volume root patches. Now let's go over some of the changes in the 0.4.11 update. One of the first ones is actually I was a part of because I saw someone that was having this issue, is that the install assistant, when we are creating the USB installer, when it's installed and puts the macOS installer app in the applications folder, does not check for free space. Actually caused a couple problems where it causes a weird error if the person doesn't have enough free space available to move the entire application to the applications folder. It will actually check now for free space before it installs, and will let the user know. That's a really nice fix. Also, it will remove duplicate OS builds in the macOS installer downloader and avoids an odd bug when publishing two different 12.5.1 products. And I called this out in the 12.6 update video that I did, and that's when you go in here to create the macOS installer and you click on download macOS installer, it's going to list all the available installers here. And what's interesting is that for some reason Apple had published two 12.5.1s, and if we click here, it would show those two, and everybody was like, well, which one do I pick? They're both the same. It didn't really matter, but it was still very confusing for users. So if we click on show other installers, you can see all the installers available, and there's those two installers again. But it's not going to show those on the first screen where most users will click from now on if there's duplicates. So that's a really nice fix. The next fix here is implement a deeper macOS installer parsing. So what does that mean? When OpenCore Legacy Patcher, the application again, looks at the installer versions in here, when it would used to just look at the version inside the application information, and sometimes that information was wrong or in the plist in the installer. The only way to get the proper build version of a macOS installer is to drill into the installer itself and mount the shared support.dmg. Inside there is the proper build number, and that is actually happening now when we get that proper build number, which is really nice, because then people were wondering, why is the build number not what the actual versioning is? So that's a really nice fix that was implemented, and I actually talked with Mykola about that, so that's really nice to see that in there. And of course, as we see here, the Safari 16 rendering in macOS 12.6. This does not affect Big Sur 11.7, only in macOS 12.6. The next thing that comes up is, do I recommend installing the 0.4.11 update on your Mac if it's running okay? Like if you go to Safari and your Google is fine, you might not need to install the update right now. But what's nice is that everybody that's going out there right now to get OpenCore Legacy Patcher is going to get 0.4.11, and they're not going to experience that issue on their personal new install. But if you are having this issue, I definitely would recommend downloading this and installing those post-root patches to be able to fix your issue. I've had a couple other people mention whether they should do the build and install OpenCore. You don't have to, and it's not recommended to do that every release. But let's say that you installed a long time ago in 0.4.5 or 4 or something like that, and you would like to be on the latest version of OpenCore on your internal hard drive. Just go into settings, set the proper settings in here that you want. Like for example, I always turn off a show boot picker to get like a more of a native experience. I'll click return to main menu. I'll click build and install OpenCore. It automatically builds. I will install that to disk. We'll give it a second here. Since I don't have anything else on here and there's only one hard drive, it's disk 0. We'll click on the EFI, and then we will install to the internal drive here by mounting the EFI partition. You see that it mounted, and it already unmounted it, and all we need to do is click on reboot. Click restart. And that's it. Remember, there's a 3-step process when we're talking about OpenCore Legacy Patcher. First, you got to update the app. then your app is on 0.4.11, and then you can install the latest version of the post-install root patches here. And then if you wanted to, again, it's optional, you don't have to every time, you can install the latest version of OpenCore to your EFI partition on your local drive. So we've had a couple issues in the past, like for example, Bluetooth. There was a couple of people saying, hey, I haven't updated in a while, I updated to 12.6 and my Bluetooth's not working. Well, if you remember by watching a couple of my other previous update videos, somewhere around 0.4.6 or 7, there was a problem with Bluetooth. To fix that, it wasn't in the post-install root patches, it was actually in the OpenCore patches. So if you missed that video, and you did not see those patch notes, and you updated for the first time in a long time, your Bluetooth would not be working properly right now. And you would have had to install the new version of OpenCore that fixed that Bluetooth issue on your Mac. So that's why usually just at least take a close look at the patch notes just to make sure your model's not listed in there, or watch the video here so you can at least get to update with the latest information on your particular model and the latest version of OpenCore Legacy Patcher application. And as always, I know that this can be complicated for some people, especially brand new users. Always feel free to post comments down below, and I will try my hardest to answer them all. Sometimes there's some complicated questions that take some thought to figure out. That's why I do these videos, and that's why I do the walkthroughs, because I want to show that anybody can do this. And I try to show it in a way that it will work for users who have used OpenCore Legacy Patcher before, but also for users who are brand new and might be a little nervous about installing an update or installing it on their older Mac for the first time. Now, if you see anything that you think that you would like to see in a future update video or one of my walkthroughs, feel free to put those down below. I always look at the comments and suggestions for future videos. And that's the 0.4.11 update video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up or a share. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, click on that subscribe button. And you can follow me on Twitter at classic2_Mr. Mac. And I want to thank all my viewers and especially all my Patreon members. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I really thank you. We'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.